I was watching Batman and Robin. I wasn't necessarily a Marvel cartoon kid, but the thing I loved about Batman and Robin was how campy it was. And how when they got into these fight scenes, you'd see wham, pow, splat. And it was bright colors and shapes whenever they put those words on there. And I love that. There was something visually for me that I really connected with. So I did enjoy that show as a child. I wanted to do some more searching, to be inquisitive and curious about what this title meant to me. So, of course, I went to that all knowing one that knows everything, Google. So I go on to Google and I started researching things like, what's the spiritual meaning of Batman and symbolism and all these things. And I found lots of stuff on there. And I'll tell you what, there's some people that dedicate their whole life to understanding these cartoon characters, these superheroes. It's pretty amazing the depth in which they can speak of these folks. But what I resonated with and what I found about Batman was that he represents strength, justice, protection. He's a guardian. He gives guidance, support, and achievement. So I thought, okay, that's cool. And then I realized, wait a minute. Holy expanded life, Batman. Who's really saying that? I'm looking at you, Robin. Robin's saying that to Batman. So I did some digging about the symbolism of robins. And you know what? A robin sighting encourages you to make a personal connection. Isn't that powerful? So as I kept reading about robins, I know, Amy Treehart Robb takes us on these wonderful journeys where we get our spirit animals. So I did a little bit more searching about the robin. And animals are deeply symbolic, and the ability to understand an animal's meaning can be difficult, but a very rewarding pursuit. So robins, as a spirit animal, are no different. And the symbolism is both deep and beautiful. Aside from being a beautiful bird, many people see robins as a symbol for messages from the universe. Yeah, messages from the universe. The divine or the great spirit or even angels. So when you see a robin next time, think about this. Think about this. So these symbols are leading us to our expanded life. And when we take that moment to listen to our heart, to spend time in our eternal world, that's where we're getting to the juice of our expanded life. So that leads me back to Dr. Sue and the reading that we did. And I want to read it one more time because I want to break a few things down from that reading. The path of purpose, making a front side impact in the world. I want to translate that real quick because we equate the levels of consciousness because we are taught that from Reverend Michael and the Agape teachings. So victim, victor, in me, as me, right? So Dr. Sue does the same thing, but she puts it as front side and back side. Backside is that victim and victor. Front side, in me, as me. So I wanted to put context to that, making a front side impact in the world. So we are here to be the creators of our lives and masters of our reality. Everything in this life is energy, meaning there is nothing that you are not. This is really important. Hang on to those words. Everything you experience and encounter in this life is a perfect reflection of your inner world, meaning that you are the one who determines and reveals heaven earth within you. We are the ones, there's nothing outside of us can make heaven earth for us. It's all here. We have everything we need right here. To have your greatest impact on the world, you don't need any followers. Now, I really love this based on Facebook and Twitter and all these things and people wanting followers, right? Wanting likes. When you turn your complete attention on the inside, oh, wait, let me go back there. You don't have to have followers. All you have to do is be inner oriented. You simply need to be who you already are, to be your soulful self. You know what? I, I know about this really well because I've spent, over 40 years on my spiritual journey, on my path. And I can admit that I bought those self-help books to be better, to be more of who I am, to find a clue, to find the gem, to find the missing answer of what was wrong with me because I wasn't okay the way I was. We get to just be who we are. The rest will follow. So Dr. Sue goes on to say, when you turn your complete attention on the inside, it doesn't take time for transformation, because the self that you are awakening to operates beyond time and space. It's beyond this form right here. So the projects that you're told that would take years to manifest can happen in an instant or in a year or whatever time it takes. Everything that you need, all resources, the right people that you need to bump into, it'll happen. Complicated situations will resolve. And the best interest will always outpicture. She ends with saying, everyone wins. And I remember Reverend Michael on Friday night said, life wins. Life wins. And you know what? We are life. We get to be the expression of oneness. Our life is an outpicturing of God. How cool is that? So I'm going to go back to talking about Robin. So going back to that, let's say that Batman's Robin, or a sighting of a robin in nature, is that message from the universe. Thank you for coming back online, Robin. I'm talking to you. What are we going to do with that when we get that message? When we see Robin, when we see a robin in nature? Paying attention. We're going to pay attention. That's guidance. We're going to pay attention to our gut. That's our intuition. We're going to take the extra time and care in our internal world. See, this is really the truth, this internal world. And I'm not talking about that world of mind chatter. We all know that world really well. It goes on and on and on. Right? But that internal world, right, Reverend Verona, it's constantly. But that inner world that is filled with inspiration and ideas, it just comes through with, it can be a whisper, it can be loud, but it comes through with love and compassion. It sounds very different than the world of mind chatter. The world of mind chatter can be very judgmental. It can be harsh. It can be saying, why are you doing this? Or why aren't you doing that? That's not that inner world. The inner world is giving us guidance constantly and reminding us by sending us the people that love us, the resources that we need for whatever situation or project we're working on. It's always there for us. The world is there for us. And following and being in that vibrational frequency of inspiration is a powerful place to live from. And it creates a world and a life for ourselves that just unfolds and flows instead of hitting the wall or wondering why it's taking so long. This leads me to talk about motivation. You know, motivation, what I've realized, is wanting something I don't have. And the minute I put that out into the universe, I get more of what I don't have. So I want to give that up because when I'm coming from that place, it gives up all my leverage of being in alignment with my true self. And I've experienced this over and over. I'm going to talk about one or two personal stories to like just drive down the fact that living in the flow, living from my soulful self, creates such an expanded life that I didn't have to work hard for because it's who I'm meant to be. In fact, have you ever tried to convince someone of something? You know? And it's like hitting your head against the wall. And then sometimes that person will even go farther from where they were in the opposite direction. I've also done this to myself. That's because I'm coming from this like I'm going to will it to happen. I'm going to motivate myself to happen rather than coming from that place of inspiration and expansion. We want to go for the goosebumps instead of the wild goose chase. The minute you get a goosebump, you know you're onto something, right? So Reverend Michael said on Friday night, we're not here to save the world. We are here to serve the emerging paradigm. And I'm adding that by showing up as our soulful self. I know for me that I've had many experiences where I let down my guard of what I should be doing on this planet in this life and followed my intuition and my inspiration. A big one, of course, is becoming a minister. And along my path of becoming a minister, I did, endless visionings and meditations and deep dives into my internal world. And one of them came up with my business called Letting It Go. And because I followed that path, it turned into another business called Letting It Flow. Let me tell you where that came from. I was at home one day and I was thinking, it would be great to have a source of income that was flexible, that I could add to what I do. And I jumped onto Facebook and I looked at their jobs in Facebook and I thought, well, let me look around and see what's there. And within seconds, I saw a job that called for a painting instructor. And I thought, wow, that sounds like fun. I went to art school after all. It's been a long time since I've picked up my brushes, but yeah, I'm going to answer that ad. So I did. And, literally within minutes, I got a ping back from the owner of the company. And she wanted to do an interview right away. I interviewed with her, and the next thing I know, she invites me to one of her corporate paint parties, and I go and I observe what she's doing. And she wanted me to teach her how to paint a painting. And again, I'm thinking, oh my God, Cindy, what did you get yourself into? You haven't held your brushes, how long has it been? And as far as teaching painting, I haven't done a lot of that either. I know how to paint, but I'm not used to telling someone, how to hold their brushes and things like that. And I just jumped in and I went for it because what you need to know about me is that's how I showed up in this world. A creative, artistic being of light. It was my favorite thing to do as a child. I wanted my crayons and my paints, and I was happy. So I did that a lot in my room. I remember being on my bedroom floor with all those paints and crayons, and I could go for hours. I could go for hours. And you know what? Those things that you do that you start, you dip into, and then all of a sudden it's 3 hours later, that's the thing. That's your purpose. That's your inspiration. That's the thing to follow. Like I'm sure Marsha with music. You know, that's her passion. That's how she showed up. That's who she is. So I'm going to fast forward on my painting journey. I started painting with this company and it went so well. Everything I had been through all the years of my life, going to art school, being in the graphic arts industry, going to school to become a minister and learning how to speak publicly, it just all meshed together in doing this work. And I found myself at my biggest paint party with 85 people. I'm there standing with my canvas teaching 85 people how to paint. And I'm sprinkling in spiritual principles. They don't even know it. They don't have to know it. It's so much fun for me. The thing I know about this is everything that I did my whole life led to this moment, including the resources showing up. I can't even tell you how the alignment came into focus, and I had no idea how I was going to do this thing. But everything that I needed, it was easy, it was effortless. It just happened beautifully. And I'm talking about an expanded life. That's my expanded life. I never thought that I could paint and get paid for it. I mean, holy expanded life, Batman. When I went to art school, one of my first teachers, um, wow, my mom would be really sad to hear this because it was a very expensive school that she sent me to, said that if you might not want to be an artist because most artists are starving artists. And there I am, 19 years old, hearing this, thinking, I don't want to starve. You know, fortunately for me, I'm always taken care of. Life is good. And I ended up in the graphic arts industry. So I got to be creative and make a great living. But now here I am, oh, let's see, 40 some odd years later, painting almost every day. It's a beautiful story. And it came from listening to my gut, listening to my intuition, letting myself do what I love and love what I do. One more thing I want to say about this is I remember also when I was 19, early 20s, I really thought that by doing what I loved, everything would be taken care of. I think my mom called it the being a bohemian, or, she's like, reality's going to set in, daughter. You have to make a living. But I really thought that. I really thought if I'm doing what I love and I love what I'm doing, all will be well, I'll be taken care of. And somehow life sort of like kicked it out of me. And I gave in to a job, the corporate world, right? And here I am. I'm back to that young person that believes that this is true. And the only thing I can say to young people that I meet is make sure you do what you love and you love what you do. That's what creates an expanded life. So I want to talk about 3 ways for all of you to live your expanded life. As Reverend Michael said Friday night, listen to the voice of the genuine. You know the difference in those voices. The voice of the genuine, the voice of our soulful self, is filled with love and compassion. It doesn't judge. It doesn't assert itself in a mean or demeaning way. It's like that voice that we use when we talk to our best friend that's going through whatever they're going through. We let them know with love, with a full heart, you are loved. You are not broken. You are perfect. You are amazing. You are a being of light. You are energy. You have everything you need. You have support. I love you. That's that voice. That's what you want to listen to. Number two, allow the chatter of ego to be the passenger rather than the driver, right? And how do you do that? How do you do that, Reverend Cindy? You spend time in your spiritual practice. We all know this. You vision, you meditate, you be in service. You come here on Sundays, you sign up for classes. In fact, we're visioning today after service. Reverend Joan will be with us leading that. You jump into conversations with people that want that same depth. Reverend Michael said that when he first started on this path that they called him a weirdo. Because he was listening to that inner voice, be a weirdo. I'm a weirdo. I'm happy I'm a weirdo. I'd rather listen to my internal self and be called a weirdo than listen to all that negativity out there in the world. Let it be okay to be okay. Let it be okay to be okay even when things look like out in the world it looks like a mess. It's okay to be in joy. It's okay to be yourself. It's okay to do what you love. It's okay to reach for those goosebumps and follow it all the way. So the last thing is those goosebumps. Go for the goosebumps rather than the goose chase. Come from inspiration rather than motivation. What do you love? Is it nature? Is it drawing? Is it painting? Is it writing? Is it music? Is it helping others? Is it service? I mean, accountants, some people love numbers. Do the numbers. Do what you love. And if you're not doing what you love, take a step in that direction. You could do it one little step at a time. And some people don't do it a step at a time. They just jump into whatever it is they've been wanting to do. And it's all good. Embrace it all. Make sure you reach out for support from your community and your loved ones because we are here for you. We are God, Goddess in form. We are your resources. We are everywhere. Your resources are everywhere. God is in the Robin. God is in Batman. God is in all the Marvel superheroes. There's nothing that God is not. Energy is everywhere. So all these characters and wonderful things that show up, these movies and creative beings are here for us. Tune in, fine tune yourself into knowing what is yours to do, what is your message, what is it for you to hear, what is it for you to know, and follow it. And with that, I'm going to ask you to close your outer eyes so we can dive into prayer.